post lunchtime. So the biggest challenge I'll face today is how to establish rapport with all of you. So I know what happens after lunch. So, but I promise you one thing. Not only will we have an excellent rapport today, but by the end of the session, you all will have a good sense of what rapport building actually is. You will be able to understand what are the areas, what are the people in your life where you could not successfully build a rapport and for what reasons. Okay. So I'm going to share a screen. Just give me a second so that I can just pull out that. Okay. So I hope everybody is able to see me.
Yes, we are able
what
to.
What we'll do today is, as we go on, I'm going to ask certain questions just to get feedback from you. And what we do is, wherever I tell you to just say yes, just let me know yes or no, so that I understand that you're getting it. Okay. So we start our day today, and like I said before, let me just take you through the entire session today. Like this is a topic. Trust me, guys. Like I do over like almost a 1-day workshop on rapport building. That is how important this topic is. But what I've done is I capsuled it into 1 hour because that's a time limitation we have. But making sure that you get the crux of it, you understand it, and you can also implement it in your life. So you'll get definitely something very nice out of this. So there are 3 parts to this. Okay, the part 1 is understanding rapport. What is rapport? The second part will be understanding the psychological structure on which the rapport is built. Okay, and the third part is how to establish rapport. So the second part is probably going to take the major time, like maybe 30 minutes or out. Okay, but let me tell you something. Once you understand the structure, you will actually start teaching me about the third part, how to establish that. That is how the second part is crucial for you to understand. Okay, so rapport building becomes very easy once you understand part 2. And I've put in a lot of slides, a lot of information so that you will get it thoroughly. Okay, so now, like I said before, it's post lunch, guys, and so we need to do something to make sure that we all are awake. Okay, so if everybody's just to check that everybody is up and charged up. Okay, we'll do a small quick exercise. It will not take us more than 30 seconds. So what I want all of you to do is just look at both the lines on your wrist. Okay, and just match the lines. Just match the lines on your wrist and take your hands together. And you'll find that one of your hand is short. Okay, in my case, it is my right hand. It's a bit short. When I say short, it would be half a centimeter or maybe 1 centimeter, whatever. So I hope Peterson, if the videos are on, because I'm looking at the screen, so I'm not able to see all the audience. So everybody, you can just come on the screen and just do this for me, please. I'll try to see. Yeah.
So all the participants to kindly switch on your videos.
You can switch on your videos, friends. Just match your lines, put it together. And when it comes like this, you will see that one of your hand is a bit short, like, maybe half a centimeter, like, little bit. Now, I'm going to tell you to do something, which if you do with belief and conviction, I'll tell you end of the thing, exercise, you tell me, wow. Okay. I'm going to, this exercise for your mind-body connection. So what you have to do is look at the short hand, the hand which is short, and tell, I want you to grow. And you're going to say this 3 times. You do it with belief and conviction. Trust me, you do it and you'll love it. I want you to grow. I want you to grow. I want you to grow. And now what you have to do is put both the lines together and take your hands up. And now tell me if it's equal. If it is same side, it is. Oh my. So please put an yes.
Yeah, I see a lot of yes coming in.
If you're surprised, say, yeah, I'm surprised. That's it. Enjoy yourself. So for all those for whom it didn't work, okay, don't worry. There's nothing wrong with you. Only thing you just have to do with a lot of belief and conviction. That's it. Okay. So I think now this will keep you awake for the next 1 hour, and we will touch on amazing topics. So what is rapport? Somebody just get on the chat box and write back to me. I mean, what do you think about rapport? I just need to figure this out one second. Okay. Rapport is connect. Okay. Sanjana says, oh, okay, she said it's okay. Sopa to everyone. Identity. Striking a chord. Okay. Vinti Agarwal says, developing understanding. Now, Tushar, that's right, but understanding probably comes after rapport. Because I'll tell you why. Because you might have a good rapport, for example, with your maid or your driver. Okay. But not necessarily you'll have a good understanding with that person. Right? Somebody said first impression, okay. It's an image, okay. So what is rapport? Anybody, you can just go and typing a little bit, whatever. Okay. Believing in the other person. Building trust, okay. But you know what, Shobha? Trust again is a level after rapport, because what will happen is, like for example, your maid, you might have a good rapport with your maid, and but not necessarily you trust her so much. I mean, like you build a rapport for something you get from her, like or something she gives you, right? It's a connection. Okay, so let's explore this. Okay, so now now this is a virtual workshop, but let's assume that you go to a live workshop. Like all of us have attended some workshop or the other. Now, imagine yourself entering this workshop. You're entering it and you see a lot of people sitting, like 30, 40 people sitting. But you go towards some people and sit with them. Like you identify certain people out there, small group or one person out there, and you might go and sit with that person. Or sometimes you might not even join people. You go and sit separately. Right? Now, what happens is when you enter the hall, you don't know anybody. You're looking for similarity. Somebody who's like you, right? In the way they dress, the way they look, the way they tie their hair, Like South Indians have a typical different way of tying their hair. So when you look at a South Indian with flowers and all that, you say, South Indian. Okay. So you might connect. So you go and sit with that person, right? As this happened to all of you? Now let's look at the end of the workshop, what happens. Now by end of the workshop, during the day, you form various groups. And in the end, you'll have 4 or 5 good people with whom you have a rapport now. In the morning, you didn't know anybody. But by the evening, you find certain similarities with 3 or 4 people. And based on that, you form a group. Like you stay in touch with those 4 or 5 people. Among the 40, 50 people, you develop a rapport with these 4 or 5 people. Now, not necessary that you trust them or you understand them. In one day, you can't trust them or understand them. But there's something similar you found in them, because of which you felt that, no, I can have a good rapport with this person. Right? So let's look at school reunions. What happens? Like you meet after 15, 20, 30 years. Like we all had reunions somewhere or the other in the last 4 or 5 years. And we meet our school friends who are like with whom we studied for the last 20 years, 30 years, whatever. And the moment you meet them, there is a instant rapport which gets created. Because of the time you spent in school, the environment where you were together, instant rapport. You're not seen for 20 years, 30 years. And you sometimes can't even recollect the name. But when you recollect the name, a lot of things come to your mind. And an instant rapport is built up. Right? Yeah, I can see a lot of yes coming in. So, for example, let's take I'll give you a general example. So, let's take a friend of yours. Okay. And you have a lot of commonalities. Like, you listen to the same music. You like same kind of movies. Okay. You went to the same college, whatever. So, a lot of things common in you. Now, this friend goes abroad for 5 years. She's gone abroad for 5 years. Now, there are 2 scenarios here. One is when she's there, she's exposed to the culture, the environment, everything out there in that country. Okay. Now, when she comes back to India after 5 years, what will happen is you will initially strike a rapport because of the previous connection, the previous similarities, right? So initially, my friend is coming. Yeah, you go and meet that person and you're very happy, excited. Now, when you meet this friend, she has changed totally. She has different likes for music. She has different choice of movies. She has different way of talking. Like, her accent has come in, right? And suddenly you feel that, this fellow's changed. So many times you tell people, "Arey, yaar, before he was different here. Now he has changed here." Now what has changed actually? Nothing. There are some similarities before which doesn't exist now, because of which you don't feel that same rapport now. You getting it? Okay. So what does that mean? One second. I just need to. One second, everybody. Okay. Okay, sorry. It's come on the full screen. So what that means is, if you ask me, people like people who are like themselves or whom they want to be like. So that is what rapport is all about. People like people who are like themselves or whom they want to be like. For example, suppose you're a progressive guy, you want to grow in your career, or you want to become the next CEO or the HR director or whatever. Okay. So when you see somebody who is already in that position, okay, and you want to be like that, you see a connectivity there, and you try to become like that person, and you try to build a rapport with that person, right? So when you see a similarity, though you are not like that right now, but you see that if you want to be like that person, that is another area where situation where you try to build a rapport. Okay. So what does it further mean? It means that anybody who shows resistance with you is doing it only because of lack of rapport. So you go for a sale, you talk to your boss or whoever, and you see there is an lack of, and he's resisting your ideas, he's resisting you or whatever it is. The only reason is there is a lack of rapport, nothing else. Okay, it doesn't mean that he doesn't like you or dislike you, and it's only missing of lack of rapport, which means there is some similarities which are not matching. It's nothing similar between you and your boss. Okay. So it could be a boss, your client, or anybody in your life. So what is rapport? Reality is all people prefer others to resemble themselves. Right? So moment you don't resemble me, I will not be able to build a rapport. Because I don't see any similarity. Right? So trust and everything builds up afterwards. One second, yes. One second, I think there's some small issue which I'm facing with my uh,
Are you not able to share it or something, or is it?
No, it's sharing. No, you can see my screen, right?
No, we are not able to see your screen.
Okay, that's what. Give me 1 second. I think I just need to sort this out. 1 second. Got it. Perfect. So people like, I think you can see it now, right? Everybody?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. People like people who are like themselves or whom they want to be like. Okay. So that also means that anybody who shows resistance to you, purely because of lack of rapport. Okay, nothing else. So it could be a boss, your friend, your colleagues, anybody in your life. It just didn't stop there. And the reality is all people prefer others to resemble themselves. And that is a fact. That is the reason why most of the rapport don't happen. So let's see how we can go beyond this. And now, rapport doesn't really mean that you have to get something out of that person, like, I get a promotion or I get some materialistic benefit. It could be intangible. Like there is a rapport between a mother and a son. Like, there's a lot of love, affection, which gets transferred between both of them. So what is important here to notice is when whatever you receive in that relationship, if it ceases to exist, if it is non-existent, then the rapport starts falling apart, right? So if I'm getting something out of the relationship, like, love, support, maybe knowledge, like if somebody is good at knowledge, a lot of knowledge sharing, so I get a lot of information, knowledge from you. But now for some reason, if because of distance, I said the friend where goes to the US, I'm not able to get that knowledge, right? So the rapport starts falling apart. Okay. So now I'm going to introduce you. This is step 2 now, which is coming up. Okay. So let me introduce you to the very powerful model of psychology, which has been adapted by NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. Now, this is a very interesting part. You can use it in various aspects of your life. So, this section I would request all of you to just focus, because this can not only help you in rapport building, but this will actually play a very important role in a lot of other areas of your life. Okay. So, I'll just give you a brief. So, there's a gentleman called Gregory Bateson, who was an anthropologist who developed this model, which is called the logical evolution of species. This work was further continued by Robert Dills, who came up with somewhat similar equivalent model, and which he called as logical levels of thinking. And later, they added the word neurological levels of thinking. So this whole model is called as the neurological levels of thinking. And it is damn exciting and damn interesting. So the reason he evolved this model was what Dills felt was, as human beings, if you look at 10 years from now, okay, in the past, you have really evolved in the last 10 years. In terms of behavior, in the way you conduct yourself, the way you speak, the way you communicate with people, the way you progress in life. So what it means is, in the last 10 years, you have really evolved. Okay. Now, if you look at the last 1 year also, what you will see is, there is considerable change in the last 1 year also, in terms of your behavior, the way you conduct and everything, the way you grew. Okay. And in the last 1 month also, there's a certain change. And even in 24 hours, like after you do this session, there will be certain changes in you. You evolve in a certain way, right? But tomorrow you might start thinking something differently. But what happens is on a daily basis, the changes are so minute that you're not able to notice it. But what that means is, you evolve on a daily basis in your life. Okay. So what is said is, the change in the thinking spreads across 6 different levels. And once you get these 6 different levels, I tell all of you, you just love this, because this impacts every area of your life. Okay. So human beings actually operate on 6 different levels, and this is called as the neurological levels of thinking. So the first one comes up. The first one is environment. Okay. Now, when you say environment, in this model, what it means is people, place, and clothes. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. So, let's assume that you're going in a train. Like in Mumbai, the trains are very crowded. I am from Mumbai. Okay. So, like the moment I say this, did you notice a lot of people who are from Mumbai, suppose, they start connecting. A rapport is built up here. Environment. Oh, Ravi is from Mumbai. Okay, fine. Right? Does it work for everybody? How language, how the environment creates a rapport suddenly, right? So, suppose, let's assume that you're in one of the metros or in the buses or wherever it's crowded, and you don't like that crowd. Okay, you're getting upset about it. You're frustrated about it. But suddenly, from in between the crowd, you find an old school friend. He sees you and he's coming to the crowd to beat you. Now, suddenly, your emotion changes now. Now you forget about the crowd and you're just enjoying it, right? You are like, it's like, your whole mental state changes suddenly, right? Now, you might say that you don't like crowd, but let's look at this crowd from a different perspective. Let's think about a disco or a pub, where there are much more people than you see in the train. But how does it affect your mental state? Different environment, okay? But it has an impact on your mental state. Now let's look at the weekend. We all say, "Oh, I love my weekends." So what is that you love about the weekend? Tell me. Somebody can just type it out. What is that you love about the weekend? You can just type it. Spending time with family, break from routine. Sapna says break from routine. Leisure, sleep without tensions, rest, no office. Fantastic. So let me tell you from this perspective. Let me tell you what is different about the weekend. The people, place, and clothes have all changed. That is the only reason that it has an impact on a psychological, on a mental state. The people, place, and clothes have all changed. You're not meeting the same people on the weekend. The place has changed because now you're in a house. Now you're wearing different set of clothes. You're not wearing a blazer, tie, whatever you wear to the office. You're wearing probably shorts or whatever. The people, place, and clothes, all three have changed. And that's why you're a different mental state altogether. Did you get it? It's simple. I'm just reconfirming so that. Perfect. So now, very interesting. When your environment changes, it automatically produces a behavior, right? Now, for example, when you're in the office, you have a very typical behavior. You're very formal with people. Hi, hello, how are you? Like, and very cordial or whatever. Now, you're sitting in the office and you're working, okay? And one old friend calls you up. Like you have been in touch, but you're not able to meet for last maybe year or so. And he said, let's catch up at a restaurant here for lunch today. Okay? And it's a working day for you. Now you leave the office, you go to the same restaurant where you had a lot of lunch and dinner with your friend. And you're meeting him after a long time. What happens? And the environment, the behavior changes, okay, based on the environment. Now you go there, suddenly you're totally free. Maybe you're dressed in whatever way you're dressed, but you're talking about childhood. You talk the language which you should talk when you're a kid or when you're in college with that friend. So everything changes, right? So what I want to tell you is your environment automatically changes your behavior, right? But if you see on the other side, there is an yellow arrow which comes down and you see it on the layers. Your behavior. So what happens as you go forward is to seek a particular behavior. This is the interesting part. You also try to seek that environment, right? To seek a particular behavior, you seek a particular environment. So suppose you want calm, peaceness, you want like peace of mind. You think about going to the temple. Because you want a certain behavior, you think about going to think about seeking a certain environment. So it works both ways. One way the environment gives you behavior, but when you want that behavior, you also seek for a certain environment. It's a loop, right? So right now, if you think about this, just take a peek into your life, okay? And so look at some of the good and bad behaviors you have. Understanding from within transparent discussion. Okay? So what I want all of you to think about some good and bad behaviors, okay? And think about what is the environment you seek to make sure that you indulge in that behavior. For example, somebody who is drinking will think about bars, okay? Somebody who is smoking will think about a lobby area wherever he does whatever he does. Somebody who wants to pray will think about a temple because you seek that place, right? Or think about any habits you have, any behavior, and think about the specific environment you seek to indulge in that particular behavior, right? So what happens here is when you indulge in a certain behavior, you'll develop a certain level of capability. Okay, now this is interesting. A cluster of behaviors gives you certain capability. Now, capability doesn't mean just professional skills. We are not talking about like doctors, engineers, and all those kind of professions. We're also talking about capabilities like work balance. I think that's how somebody balances work and home. Okay, staying calm, staying grounded. Okay, creativity. These are all capabilities which you develop because of certain behaviors. Now, let me give you an example. I'll take an example of a guy called John. Okay, we'll use this character throughout our exercise. Now, let's assume an office meeting is going on. Okay, the office meeting is going on, and there is an issue in the organization. Okay, and the boss tells John, "Hey, let's take a 10-minute break, and after I come back, I need a solution to this problem." Okay. Now, John is with his team, and he has another senior member in his team called Paul. Okay. Now, as soon as the boss leaves, John tells Paul, "Boss, we need to find a solution here. I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of anything." So Paul tells him, "Hey, don't worry. Let's go down for a smoke. And you know what? Once I think, then I'll find we'll work out something here. Come on." So now John goes with Paul down to the lobby wherever they smoke, the smoking area. Okay. Now Paul is smoking, and they're discussing the problem, that whatever they have in mind, stuff like that. And suddenly he comes up with some solution. He said, "Oh, let's do like this, like this, like this, and I think this should work." Okay. So Paul also discussed, they deliberate on that idea, and then they come up. Okay. Now they back in the meeting, and John tells the boss, "Okay, boss, I feel this is what we should do." And the boss says, "Wow, I don't know how you think about it. That's excellent." Now, what John got out of it was smoking makes you creative. It releases some kind of chemical in your brain. It makes you very creative because he just saw it. Now, how much time do you think it will take for John to adapt that behavior? Because he's actually taking that behavior, adapting that behavior because he wants a certain capability. Because he's in a position where you have to keep thinking creatively, you have to keep giving solutions to the management, right? So he's going to adapt that behavior purely to adapt that capability of creativity, right? How many of you getting it? You agree with this? Just give me yes, yes, yes. So thank you, Vindhya. Thank you, Sanjana. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, all of you. So, whenever you want to get creative, he smokes. Now look at this. Look at the college kids, nowadays, or like they get into drugs and all that thing. So one of the reasons they start getting drugs is to look cool, right? So they want to attain a capability to look cool, for which they indulge in a behavior, right? And it is so strong that sometimes, in winters, you'll see, like I was in Delhi a year back, and I was in a meeting, and this guy, like it's 2 degrees there in December or January, and he would go down to smoke still, he wear a sweater and muffler and everything, because he had to release his creative mind, and that's what he believes, that this behavior will give me that capability, so that in the meeting, what happens when we're stuck at some issue, he would go down and smoke and then come up, because he wants to get that capability of being creative. Okay. So now you move to the next level, that is beliefs. Okay, beliefs and values. So now if you ask me, what are beliefs? Beliefs are always based on evidence. Okay. So like in this case where we spoke about John. John saw an evidence that when this guy smokes, he gets creative ideas. Okay. So that means smoking can help me get creative ideas. That became his belief system. Now what will happen is that belief got him some recognition in the organization, right? Because his boss said, "Wow, you are like amazing, man." Okay. Now, because of that appreciation which you got, and which probably will keep coming to again and again, and probably which will get some promotions also, he's okay to compromise on certain values. He says it's okay to smoke. I mean, like though my parents taught me don't smoke or do whatever, a lot of people tell me, but it's okay to smoke because on one side I'm getting all this. I'm getting recognition, I'm getting promotions, I probably get a good salary also, increment or whatever. So this is what happens at this level, because your capability leads you to believe that this works. Okay, and then you start believing it, right? If I'm going fast, yeah, somebody's written, you feel like a new idea comes from smoke. Yeah, in a way, you're right. That's what they do. I mean, that's what most of the time they. So now I'll give you another example. I know somebody as a friend. We used to go for conferences together. Like I'm talking about 4 5 years back. And what I used to observe about this guy is like he's super intelligent chap, but during the entire conference or the seminar, he wouldn't speak to anybody. He wouldn't speak to anybody. Like he's an introvert type. So he'll go maximum one or two people. He'll say hello, hi, hi. That's it. Okay. And I literally had to take him and introduce him to people and exchange cards. And then like he would exchange a couple of cards and he'll go and sit in one corner. Okay. Now one day, what happened was after maybe 6 7 months, I met him at another event, and it was the event which had a cocktail in the evening. Okay. So suddenly in the evening, when the session was over, I had my talk at around 4:35, and they asked you to wait for the cocktails. Okay. And suddenly I saw this guy after 6 o'clock, after having a couple of, he's like all around, like talking to people, like, and shaking hands, giving cards and hugging and what all. I mean, like absolutely extrovert. And I said, great. I mean, this guy is like really changed him. And then I met him in another event in 15 days time, where there was no alcohol or this in the evening. What do you call it? Cocktails. And again, I found him sitting on corner, like, and after the event, he suddenly disappeared. So what do you think happened here? What happened was, when he had alcohol for the first time in an event like this, whenever it happened, okay, he suddenly felt that confidence coming in. Like he could go out and speak. But in a way, I'll tell you what happens. So when this cocktail starts, everybody comes around and talks to you. So it doesn't matter if you're shy or not, somebody will definitely come and speak to you. That is how it works. Because everybody is there to network. Okay. So it has got nothing to do with alcohol. Okay. So people generally network because that is an opportunity given for you to network. Right? But this guy interpreted it as alcohol gives you confidence. I'm able to build good network when I drink, right? And that is a belief which got registered. And so what happens slowly was, you won't believe, I used to only start seeing him at events where there are cocktails. If there is a good event where there are good networking happening, he'll probably miss it. Because I will not go and network, So if there's an event with a cocktail, he is there 100%. Because he feels I can network. So his belief was alcohol gives me the confidence to become an extrovert or deal with people. Like recently also, this is a very recent example which is happening in the industry now. Like a lot of movie stars and people are being caught with drugs. What do you think is happening? They have all the money in this world. They have all the network. I mean, they are self-sufficient. Okay, so why do you think they have drugs? Right? Because they believe it enhances their performance. And because of the fame and money which they get, they're okay to compromise on the value system. Okay? Everybody agrees with me on this? So now come the second last level is identity. So now what happens is your belief gives you an identity. Now the identity for this person, like for John, is I'm a creative guy. That is the identity he has, right? I'm a creative guy. So if you ever ask a smoker, are you addicted to it? He will never accept that. What he would end up telling you is that I'm a very creative guy. I feel relaxed. I'm a relaxed and cool chap. Okay. So he'll never admit the fact. So anything which comes after the word I am is the identity. Okay. And then you know how the whole cycle starts. He has an identity that he's a creative guy. Okay. Based on the belief that smoking gives him, makes him creative. So he goes and he seeks that capability. What is the capability? Being creative. Okay. To be creative, he has to seek a behavior, which is to smoke. And to seek that behavior, he has to find an environment, which is he finds that spot, right? Where he can smoke. Okay. So, or the people with whom he can smoke, right? So, even in the case of this person, who I said, my friend, who thinks I'm an extrovert. Okay, the identity. The belief is alcohol makes me an creative guy, extrovert. Okay, now to seek that capability of extrovert, he seeks a behavior which is drinking, and drinking leads him to seek an environment which is an seminar or an event or wherever it is, like where he can have alcohol. Is this clear for everybody? So let's take a real life example where we all are right now. So this is I was told that this forum has a lot of HR professionals, students, and people from other industries also. But I'm just giving a typical example of an HR profession. So suppose as an individual, your identity is I'm an HR professional. Okay. So let's look at it from down, from the environment. How the environment helps you. So suppose you go to XLRI or you go to any other good institute and do your HR management or whatever, MBA in HR, whatever. Okay. So that environment gives you certain behaviors. Like, they teach you how to interview people, how to be transparent with people, how to be versatile, how to be adaptable. Because of the behavior, you get certain capabilities. Okay. Now it could be communication, engaging with people. This are capability, coaching people. Now because of that capability, you get a belief that because of certain belief, capabilities, I am an HR professional. Okay. And now that becomes your identity. Okay, and it flows down the same way. It flows down the same way. So, and it finally comes to, like, for example, like so many people are here on the forum today because they're seeking an environment like HR Association of India where we can all collaborate, learn, and grow. Because there is a lot of similarity here between all of us. A lot of coaches out here. And the common reason we are all on this platform today is how can we learn this and enhance our life and also enhance the life of others. So there is a lot of similarity. That is why there are so many people on this forum. I hope you're getting the gist of it. I'm trying to make it as simple as you can because this model otherwise sounds very complicated. I hope everybody is getting it.
Yes, Ravi.
Okay, so now comes the last one, the purpose. Okay, and this is just your identity fits with your purpose, and this is a killer. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so now let's take the example of John. Everybody, okay? John is a guy, in that room who smoked, who saw his friend Paul smoking, and he also started smoking now because he wants to become creative and whatever it is. So suppose one of you is coaching John. John comes to you and say that, boss, I need to quit smoking here. I don't know. So let's look at the sequence of discussions which will tell you how important purpose is. Okay? So consider yourself as a coach, and John has come to you for coaching. Okay, and you could be HR director or whatever if he's working in your company, or you could be any maybe a friend to John. Okay, so not necessarily you have to put on any identity just for the sake of it. You can be anybody, but you know John, and John has come to you for help. So let's assume when you ask this question to John, why he smokes? So John says, I'm a problem solver. I'm a creative person. Smoking helps me relax and become uh, a creative guy. Okay. So he's talking from his identity right now. Okay. So what he has told you now is identity. I am a creative person. Right. So he has declared to you an identity. Now I'll show you why purpose and identity. If you see, I have marked it in red color. Purpose and identity is the most important. Okay, and as you go forward, you'll easily get it. Why I'm telling you so. So this gentleman has told you that told you about his identity now. Now, how do you tackle that? So you can question him. What purpose does being creative serve? Okay. So what purpose does being creative serve for you? Now, John's probable reply would be, when I come up with creative solutions, I get recognition, fame, and money. Okay, so that is the purpose which is served for John right now. Okay, now I'll just pull this here. So the next question you could put up to me is, what purpose does earning money, fame, and recognition serve you? Now what you're doing is, he's told you one purpose. Okay, one purpose is that I get fame, recognition, money because of being creative. And because of being creative, I drink. Okay. Now what you're doing is you're trying to make him see a higher purpose. Okay, which is much more powerful. So for example, so in this case, like you asked, what purpose does earning money, fame, and recognition serve for you? So you indirectly try to get the higher purpose. And now John says, I will be able to give my family a good lifestyle and my son a great education. Now, if you see what has happened here is suddenly a purpose which is not very powerful has been taken on by higher purpose. Okay, one is making money, but for whom? For whose happiness? For my family's happiness. Now, this is a higher purpose for him, right? Now, next question you would possibly ask him: what will that make you? So if your purpose is to take care of a family, give them a good lifestyle and education, what will that make you as a person? Now, if you see the arrow going towards identity? So what I did was in this whole thing was, first I shifted his purpose to a higher purpose. Okay. Now based on that higher purpose, I'm trying to see what is the new identity he can get out of it. Okay, because right now the identity is creativity, right? Which she feels that drinking will get him that creativity. But now I'm trying to see what is the new identity he would like to get because of this higher purpose. And he comes back with an answer saying that, oh, well, that would make me a responsible husband and a responsible father. Now you think about it, an identity that I'm a creative man versus I'm a responsible man and a responsible father, husband or responsible father. How powerful is new identity, right? Let me just shift my screens here. One second. Okay. Now we move to the next. So next question I would ask him, or you could probably ask him is, what if you smoke and lose health and fall sick? Will you be able to be a responsible father or husband? Now he has approved of that higher purpose. Now he suddenly saw that it is a higher purpose, right? And he saw that new identity. And now this question will actually intrigue him because he doesn't see how smoking will help his new identity. Because now he suddenly sees I'm being irresponsible. He wants to be responsible, but now because of this question, he says, oh, I'm not being responsible here. Right? Now, if you see here, what has happened is this new purpose, new higher purpose identity. Okay, there is an impact on his belief because the belief always needs evidence. Okay, right? And there is a shift in his belief now. Okay, that is for like to be a responsible person, he doesn't have to smoke because that is his new identity he wants to get into. And for that, he doesn't have to smoke. And suddenly, he sees the old belief as a threat to this new identity and his new purpose. Because the old belief of smoking was being creativity, that is fine. And that was a behavior. But that behavior now suddenly becomes a threat for him in this for this new identity, which is to be a responsible husband, responsible father. Everybody is getting it. Am I going a bit fast or slow, or you getting the clarity on this?
Yeah, Ravi, there's a question from Sahil.
Yeah.
Do we look at this pyramid from top to bottom or from bottom to top?
Oh, so that's why I put the arrow Sahil. Thanks, Peterson, for bringing it to my attention. Sahil, I put a arrow on both sides because it always flows from bottom to top, also and top to bottom also. So, for example, suppose your purpose, in this case, your purpose is to be a responsible father. Okay. Then you'll see the identity of a responsible father. And your belief will be to be a responsible father, I should not be smoking. I should be doing maybe something else, but not smoking, definitely. So accordingly, your capability and behavior will change. The behavior will stop. You stop probably quit smoking, and you will seek an environment because of the new purpose in your life. You will seek a new environment, which means you will stop meeting some of the friends with whom it's a smoke or drink. Right? So it flows down. Actually, it goes up also. And in an example going forward, I'll show you how it works. That's why I put arrows on both sides. And as you go forward, you'll see why it happens, both sides also. Okay, Sahil. Okay, now some interesting things about this whole theory, whole psychological concept. That is, if you see, I have marked it in blue, right up to environment, behavior, capability, beliefs, and value. They are in blue, and on top you have it in red. Okay, that's the reason why. Because, you see it now. Okay, from belief to the environment, it is always external. Now, when I say external, what it means is, for example, if suppose you have a belief, that particular belief will give you a certain result, which will be judged by people outside. So results always are judged by people outside. And same to do with environment. It is always outside. Okay. But purpose and identity is always inside. It's always within. It is your identity. It is your purpose. Okay. So and you get to know why this is so important in a while. So for example, let's look at this classic example, simple example, which is from a daily life. Like for example, today it's like November, By December, everybody will start. Oh, I have to go to the gym, exercise. So January 30th के अंदर तो six pack आना ही है. You have to get it. Like, December this will start. Okay, you start enrolling into gym also, right? Now let's look at the purpose of joining the gym, so that you know why you'll fail and you make sure you don't fail. Okay, so now suppose your purpose is that I'll build a body, like no. So let me give a real life scenario. You're standing with a friend, okay, and he's a good build and he's like stud, like, and you're standing with him and some girls pass and they look at it. Okay, now you got a new purpose, and this is important. This happens on a subconscious level. I'll come to that again. But now you suddenly saw, nobody said anything, but you observed that the girls are watching. Now you subconsciously got a new purpose. That why should I go to the gym? Girls will look at me. Okay, but what happened here? Girls are external. Okay, so what will happen? You go to the gym. In a month, it is either way. It's a worst case scenario, because what if the girls see you within a month? You say, "Oh, my purpose is met, so I'll quit gym." If they don't see you, again there's a problem. Your purpose is not being met. Again, you'll quit the gym, right? But if you have a purpose, like if you meet the same friend and you have a chat with him, and you ask him, "Boss, why do you go to the gym here?" He tell you, "Boss, till that time I die, I want to be fit here. I want to stay healthy for my whole life. That's it. I don't care anything else." Now you get a new purpose. Oh, stay healthy and fit for your whole life. Okay. Now this is so powerful now, right? So you see how internal and externally it affects you. Like if you have something which is external, then as good as it will just collapse any moment, and it will start disintegrating, right? Now look at addictions. Like, why is it so difficult to give up addictions? You tell me, smoking, drinking, drugs, or whatever. Why is it so difficult? Because it is internal. It's your identity. Drinking makes me creative. Creative makes me gives you purpose. Like it is internal. So you don't care what people look at you and tell you. You don't care if they're laughing at you. If you're drinking, you're on four legs. People tell you you're a drunkard. That's okay. People say you stink. That's okay. Because it is internal, so you don't care about anything external, right? So beliefs, capability, behavior, environment, these are full external factors. And you'll see, I'll give more examples and you'll understand this better. Okay, so everybody getting it here about the internal and external? Just drop me a quick yes. Thank you, Jagdish, Manisha, Ranish, Sapna. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Okay, now this is interesting again. I'll just pull your chats down. If you see the pyramid, right at the bottom, the environment, behavior, all this happens at a conscious level. Okay, you can consciously change it. Right? For example, you can consciously change your environment. You can decide, I'm not going to go there. Okay. Right? You can decide not to meet certain people. You can decide on even clothes. You can even decide on a behavior. I'll not behave in a certain way. You can consciously take that decision. Right? But purpose and identity happens at a subconscious level. Right? So, for example, when I say subconscious level, I'll explain that to you. For example, I told you about the guy, these 3-4 guys standing, and why one guy is like who's a bodybuilder, right? And you see girls looking at him. Suddenly, on a subconscious level, without you being consciously aware, what happened? You registered a message that if you have a good body, girls will see you, right? Or people will appreciate your body, or whatever, right? Right or no? So it happens at a subconscious level. You are not even aware of it. That is the problem with purpose and identity. Like, for example, if you ask somebody, seriously, can drinking really make you creative? I mean, is something wrong with you? Well, consciously, if you ask that question, the answer is no. But then why does he do that? Why does he drink thinking that he'll become an extrovert and that will help you to mingle with people? Why? Because this has happened at a subconscious level, unknowingly. Like when he went to that event and he had a couple of pegs, And suddenly people started coming and talking to him. He started feeling that, oh, the drinks is helping me become extrovert. And it subconsciously happened. Consciously, he was not aware. And then he started believing it. Okay? So, if you see what happens is the environment, behavior, capability, this happens at a very conscious level. And as it moves up, the identity purpose happens at a subconscious level. So, which you are not aware, it just happens and then you start believing it. Okay? Now comes the second part. Right from below, the changes are easy. It's not very difficult. Okay. But as you move up, identity and changing the purpose is very difficult. It's not easy. Okay. Right up to the beliefs, you can do it. It's not very difficult, but you can do it. So because I'll tell you why. What will happen is, for example, somebody who seeks a behavior of drinking to become extrovert. What will happen if suppose you want to change it? So he just have to stop going to that bar or the restaurant or to the smoking zone, right? Okay, so he can do that. That is easy to do it. But smoking makes me creative and I am a creative guy. How will you change that identity? Because that identity is associated with belief that like when I'm creative, I get a lot of acknowledgement and this and that. There's a purpose for it now. Okay. So changing the purpose in the identity becomes very difficult because people love their identities and they will actually shed blood for to save their identity. That is the extent where how much to which identities are powerful. Okay, so it's easy to change the last four. As it moves up the ladder, it gets a bit more difficult. But identity and purpose becomes really difficult. Okay, and I'll give some more examples as we. Now, this is again interesting. Down below, where you see environment, behavior, and all, it's the impact is low. It's not very high impact. Okay, so but when you look at the purpose, again the purpose changes, the impact is very high. For example, um, the guy who thinks about going to the gym, if he changes his purpose to like I want to stay healthy for my life, then the impact is huge. He'll be very consistent to the gym. He'll be regular to the gym. He'll do everything it requires. He'll take out time. He'll develop new capabilities. That is discipline, right? Consistency, right? Because the purpose now is to stay fit for life. So what will happen is his beliefs will change, his capabilities will change. He'll become more disciplined, more consistent, right? He'll join a gym. He'll seek an environment also, right? The impact is very high. It flows on very fast. If you make changes on the top two, purpose and identity changes, it dilutes very fast. But if you change, if you like, change the environment, like you like decide to go to the gym, you went to the gym, but your purpose is still the same. That I want to impress certain people, external. So the impact will be there. Like you go for 1 month, that's it. But it will not be high impact. So you will not go beyond 1 month, 2 months, or whatever. Okay. Now again, another I would say quality of this model is at the lower level, the bottom is very slow. The change is very slow, but at the top, purpose identity it is difficult, high impact, but the change starts happening very fast. It's high impact and the change starts happening very fast. So down below, when your behavior environment changes, for example, you might stop going to the bar, okay, or whatever for that matter, any environment, like for example, suppose you learn music. That's an example which came to mind. You want to learn music. Now the purpose, suppose your purpose is I want to learn music because I want to become rich. I want to make a lot of money. Okay. Now you go to a certain, and remember this is external because money has to be given by somebody. People have to give you fame from outside. But if you say I want to learn music because I just love music, okay, and I want music as part of my life, okay. Now the purpose is much higher, right? So this entire structure, what I'm going to say that anything you want to change on top, it's a fast change, but anything on the bottom is a slow change. Okay, and we'll get more clarity on this as we go further. And now this is how the whole model of neurological levels of thinking works. Okay, so this is the end of part 2, right? Now we are going to see rapport building. Okay, and how many of you are interested to know this? And like I said, I won't even have to tell you how this works because of the structure which got created till now. And if you understood this, you will actually end up teaching me rapport building now. Okay, when you see the next screen now. So how many of you have understood everything till now? Here? Just drop me. I have got it. So I know that you got it. Got it. Whatever. Yeah, Manisha, positivity on focus of purpose is very important. Yes, very important. Fantastic. Time seems to be flying today. I don't know why and how, but it's crazy. So I'll just make sure that I do justice to all of you and I'll quickly do it. Okay. So now let's look at this. Look at this chart now. Now you start getting a picture of what I was trying to tell you. Okay. So lower at the bottom is it's an x and y axis. Okay. And lower at the bottom, you'll find okay. So lower on the pyramid is environment, okay, and you have rapport building on one side, okay. Now let's look at rapport building as in the whole exercise using this neurological level of thinking, okay. Now, if you look back at the people in your life, there are a lot of people with whom you have a good rapport purely because of the environment, okay. Now, environment means people, place, and clothes, okay. So, like suppose I meet you and I talk about a common place. I said, oh, are you from Bangalore? And you said, yeah, I'm from Bangalore. Immediately a rapport has been established. Okay? A rapport has been established there because we're talking about a common place, right? Now suppose I come to meet you and you are in formals and I also come to meet you in formals. Immediately there's a rapport. At the same time, if I'm not dressed appropriately, right? What happens? Why do they tell you that when you go for a meeting and all, you have to dress appropriately? Because that is the first level of rapport. Moment you see somebody who's not dressed properly, the rapport breaks. Okay. Now this is the lowest level. It's not very powerful, but still it has an impact. It has an impact, right? So right. So one of the things which I want to tell you is this is people. Okay. Now suppose many times we talk about references. Okay, like I'm going to meet one of you and I use Peterson's name. Okay, Peterson from HR Association of India. Now you know Peter. Okay, and that common name gives us a rapport, right? I use his name. So environment is people, place, and clothes, right? So moment that matches in a certain way, there is a certain similarity. Immediately a rapport is stuck, right? That's why I said it's very important. Like when you go to Gujarat, you pick up the way they dress. Okay, and look at how they dress and how they talk about certain things, because that will help you establish a rapport. Now we'll go to the next part. Okay, and that is behavior. Now behavior has three aspects. Okay, the tone, uh, how you repeat it. Like for example, let's look at this. That I come to meet you. Okay, and you're talking to me like this. Yeah, Ravi. Yeah. Yeah, please tell me whatever you have to tell me. And on the other side, I'm like, sir, you know what? Let me tell you something. Because we are one of the premier staffing companies in India. Now, you know what has happened? There's a disconnect here. He's talking at a certain tone and pitch, and I'm talking at a certain tone and pitch, and somewhere he's not able to connect, right? Now the pace. The second important thing is the pace. When he's talking at a certain pace, and I'm at a different pace, again, rapport is a problem there. So it breaks the rapport. At the same time, if you catch up that speed and say, yes, sir, yeah, and let me tell you something about my company. My company team is one of the premier staffing. So now what happens is, this pace matches and he's comfortable because he used to that kind of pace while talking, right? And so that helps build a rapport. That helps build a rapport. Then another way of building rapport in behavior and communication is you repeat a word. Like suppose we are having a chat and you tell me, there are a lot of problems which I've been facing in the business. And I just say, oh, I get it, that you have a lot of problems. Okay. So let's see how we can help you resolve it. Now, what I did is the first part, I just try to resonate with you, right? I repeat the same words but differently. I did not just duplicate the words. Okay, I just repeated the word in a certain way. Now you feel connected to me because I repeated what you said and I also told you what we can do about it, right? The third is body language. This subject, as I said, is more than a day. Even a day is less to cover. But I'll have to take you through this a bit in a hurry. But you'll get it. And one of the things I'll tell all of you is research, research, research. And of course, you can join my NLP workshop, which is there on my website, and you'll get to learn more. Or wherever you are, try to learn this subject. This is very important. Okay. The third is body language. Now, in body language, there is something called as matching and mirroring. Okay, which I'll show you in a while. Now, what matching and mirroring means is like, when certain people are in certain stance and you match it, they get a certain level of what you call rapport. You build a rapport in that situation. For example, I'm sitting like this, okay, and now when you say mirroring, what you do is you give me a mirror image on the other side. So my left hand is on the table. You could actually keep your right hand. Okay, so that is how the mirror image works. So my left hand is your right hand, so it's a mirror for me. Okay, and of course, you don't have to be very obvious because it should not look funny. But trust me, if you do it discreetly and subtly, they'll not even make out. And rapport builds up. A body language has major impact on rapport. Okay, there is something called as matching, where I'm doing exactly whatever you're doing. Right? So if my left hand is up, you also bring your left hand up. Okay, this is exactly matching cut to cut. Okay, this also helps build rapport. And I'm going to show you some photographs, and you'll be amazed how some of the top world leaders use matching and mirroring for rapport building. Okay, let's have a look at this. Now, this is President Obama. Look who is sitting across with, and look at the posture. Look look at his hands. Look at his shoulder level. Okay, and look how is his both his like even his toes are protruding outside. The same pose. He literally mirrored the guy on the other side. Now look at Kate Middleton and Prince William. Look at the hands. So many a times what you see is when people are in rapport, their body language matches. Like when I and we suppose we are in sync, we have good rapport. So when we stand, our poses will automatically match because we already in rapport. So now you do it the other way around. If you match the pose, then also you can build a rapport. So it works the other way around. So that is the logic and the science behind it. Okay. Now look at this pose. Right? I hope you all are getting it. Like this is something which is used all across the world. But top leaders, top performers, top speakers, top trainers. Okay, there's nothing which is right or wrong about it. It's a science which works. Everybody getting it? Please drop me a quick. And if you look at this another one, like President Obama with the Chinese president. So what you do is there's something called as calibration, which you do in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So we watch people, we observe them. Okay. So now these are small tricks and traits which what happens is like he's got up to put up his jacket. So it's nothing wrong about it. Even I opened a button, so I would even get up and do the same thing. Now this brings sort of a commonality, a similarity between people, and the rapport starts building up slowly. Like remember, we are at the lowest level now. So this is the levels which takes you to the top level slowly. Okay. So that brings us to just quick. If you think it's amazing, just write that word here, amazing. Because this is something which is practiced all across the world by people, and you can just bring it into your life. Thank you, Subha. Thank you. Good, Preeti. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you, Sanjana. So I'm so happy that you are getting it. Thank you. So now we go to the next one, which is capability. So now many times you notice that when you have certain capabilities, you instantly build a rapport. So for example, you're going somewhere at the airport and you see a guy who's sitting with a laptop and working, and you're an IT guy and he's an IT guy. Immediately there's a rapport. You're sitting across, you don't know each other. But you'll walk up to him and probably tell him, "Oh, where do you work? Which company? What do you work on? Are you working on Java? Whatever." Now they don't know each other, and they'll start talking also because their capabilities match. When you have to build a rapport with somebody, look at what are his capabilities. For example, I was meeting somebody some time back, and this fellow, I saw his social media post, and he's making cakes at home. This is a senior executive. So that is a capability he has, making cakes at home, right? It's on a personal level, but he has it. So when I went to meet him casually, I told him I don't make cakes, so I would not lie. Okay, so build a rapport. Most important thing. I'm going to come into that. Never lie to build a rapport. Okay, so I told him my daughter makes cakes. So I told him, sir, even my daughter makes pancakes, and yesterday that is what she served me. And this came out of a casual conversation. I didn't just start the topic like this. He immediately started, Ravi, what pancake does she make? So I said she makes the coconut pancake. And he said, oh, Ravi, coconut? Oh, okay, okay. I will tell you give a couple of other recipes. So instantly a rapport started building. Okay. Now some guys will be good at painting. They might be have a hobby of painting. So if you start talking about painting, capabilities, okay, there is instant synergy, instant rapport out there. Right? Now you talk about golf. Like I like you see him like he's playing golf and stuff like that. That's a capability. That's a sport he knows about. He is capable of playing golf, right? So if you are somebody who knows about golf, understand, you can talk about golf. Instant rapport at the lowest level. See, this is how it goes. So you wear good clothes, you behave a certain way, you talk about capabilities. Your rapport is just building up slowly. Now comes the interesting part, the belief part. Okay. Now, how do you build rapport on the belief part? Okay. So he has a particular religion he follows, a particular caste he follows, whatever. Now, if you start talking about that, instant rapport is built up, right? Like for example, last 3 days I was in a pilgrimage called Sabrimala. So I was there. I came back on Friday night, 3 days. So somebody contacted me in between, and on Saturday morning, I didn't know that chap. I didn't know the gentleman. He was from Chennai, and he got me from LinkedIn or somewhere. He sent me a message. He wanted some training to discuss some training. But you know what he did? The first thing he started conversing with me. No, sir, I saw your post on your Sabrimala temple visit, and I am a big devotee of Sabrimala. Okay, and I just wanted to know how the visit was. Now, what happened instantly in 1 second? There is an instant rapport which got built up because he spoke about something I believe in, that God I believe in, right? So there is an instant rapport which built up. Now, many times you go to meet somebody and you might say, you know what, I'm a pure vegetarian, right? Now, imagine it's a belief he has. Like, why did he say I'm a vegetarian? Because he believes that vegetable he should not eat non-veg, or he believes he should eat veg only. People should eat veg. Now, imagine if you sit in front of him and tell him, but I think sir you should try non-veg. मतलब आपको proteins भी मिलेगा, it will be really good for you. There's a big disaster there. Remember, belief is from where you go up. You just violated a big rapport factor there. Okay, you clash with his belief literally. So this is probably going to end. Okay, after this, if you're lucky, you get an opportunity after belief. See, if you mess up anywhere in the first 2-3 parameters, it is fine. It is possible you will still be able to build. But after belief, identity, and purpose, if you mess up anywhere, then it is end of rapport. You literally collapse the whole rapport structure. So that is about beliefs. And now we quickly move to identity. Okay. So many people have identity, like he talks about, he say I'm Muslim. I follow Islam. So that is his identity. Okay. Now if you sit in front of him and say that what come I know what these people are doing across the world. Hello, you can't do that. There are some people who do something wrong. Okay. But if you hit him at his identity, then you literally it's gone. There's no question of rapport after that. Right? So he would say, like for example, casual statements. He would say, like you sit in front of him and they say that, oh, yesterday, you know what, I almost met with an accident. Then he will ask you, your client might ask you, why? What happened? And you tell him, in the morning, you know what, there's no traffic here. So I just rushed to the signal. And suddenly a car came. Now, if he has an identity that I am a law-abiding citizen, I am a citizen of the country, I don't violate laws, I am a law-abiding, and that is identity for him. He's not going to like it. So you've got to be very careful. So he's saying that how can you break signal? There are certain people whom I met who feels breaking signal as big a crime as murdering somebody. That's how it is. right? At that level, it is very strong. So suddenly he feels that here is a guy who is compromising on integrity, okay, because he breaks signals, because your identity does not match his, right? And again, like for example, if you turn around, look at my this on top, like you see a lot of medals are hanging. I don't know if you see it, but so what that means is I love to run. Okay, so what is the best thing you do when you come to like meet? So in a way I have an identity that I'm a marathoner, I'm a runner, I love to run. Okay, so when you come into my cabin and you see that, okay, the first thing you have to do is talk about something about running. That I saw the last marathon and this is what happened and this and whatever. I instantly connect. I jump up and tell you 10 other stories like what happened that marathon, this marathon, and the rapport is built now. I hope you're getting it, right? And the last one is purpose. Now look at how the rapport will build on purpose. Now purpose is the most powerful. Okay. Now what you have to understand is like I'll give you a classic example. So I was visiting a client and I was trying to call him multiple times to fix up a meeting. And it was not happening at all. And then every time he tell me, I'm going to Hyderabad, I'm going to Hyderabad, I'm going to Hyderabad. So I said, one day I asked him, sir, can I please, what is happening in Hyderabad that you keep visiting Hyderabad? So he said, Ravi, I have a huge factory coming up and I'm really busy here. So I really can't take out time to meet you. So what I realized was, okay, there is a purpose here that he travels to Hyderabad because there is a new factory coming up and that keeps you busy. So normally what I do is I meet the person and then I send out an email about the company profile. But what I did in this case was I shot him an email. In that I said very clearly, I didn't put any introductions about the company. I just said, sir, glad speaking to you. And you mentioned about the Hyderabad client. So we already have a office in Hyderabad and I have these 6 clients. Okay, out of these 6, 3 of them are in a similar industry like yours. Okay, yours in a manufacturing business. And out of the 6, 3 are in the exactly manufacturing business. And we serve them and we provide them manpower and we do the entire payroll. So if there is anything which we can do for you, please let us know. You know what happened the next moment? He sent me an email saying that, can you please send me a company profile? Now, what did I do? I connected at the purpose level, the top level. And what did I tell you? The impact is high. It is fast. It might be difficult. Like it was difficult to connect him for a purpose. But once you hit it there, it is like quick. It just happens. Right? So that is how. Now, one good thing about this rapport is, you can just play around anywhere. It doesn't mean that, like sometimes you might hit with somebody on a belief, right? Okay, and you might go down to capabilities behavior, or you might go up. So there's nothing like you have to start with environment. Like first say that I belong to Bangalore, I am belong to Mumbai, then have to go to behavior. You can just shuttle around. The idea is to know all these parameters and know where to play around with, right? I hope everybody getting. So when you establish a rapport at the purpose or identity level, the rapport is high impact and faster. Okay, but when you do it in environment, it builds up slowly, build environment, behavior capability, but it is low impact and a bit slow. Okay, I'm just just going a bit fast because I just looked at the time at 4:15, and I just really want to finish it. Peter, is it okay if I take 10 minutes more?
Yes, absolutely.
Not a problem.
Yeah. We can go ahead.
Okay, and audience time, my apologies if you had something which was planned, and if I'm biting into your time, my apologies for that. But I really want to complete this for you so that you get a full gist of it, and I really hope you all are fine with it. Okay, I'll go with Peter. The Peter is is the voice for all of you right now. Okay, so now the best part is you can establish rapport at any level. Okay, you can start with purpose, like I told you in this case. Like once we did purpose in the same guy, this factory whom I met. After we did that, after I sent him the proposal, we had a meeting, and in that meeting, a lot of things came out. Like I told you about my religious connection. He said, "Oh, even Ravi, I have gone to this temple twice or thrice." So at a environment level, we again connected. We again belief level, we connected. Slowly, that rapport became much stronger, right? So now coming to the best part, and I'm going to have a sip of water. So while I have a sip of water, ask everybody quickly, can you possibly just write that you're absolutely getting it? Just write absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm going to type a bigger word, but the idea was to make sure that uh, you all are awake. And I'm sure you're awake, and I hope I'm able to build a good rapport with all of you. But this is very interesting, and you love it, and all the married people in this group. Okay, I'm going to see you smiling on this screen, but I actually have to show you the PPT so I can see you. But I can assure you, all of you are going to smile today. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's see, very interestingly, how a rapport can fail miserably if you fake it. Okay, so you all the techniques you learned, like mirroring, matching, like whatever you how to match a tone, everything. But if you fake it, like if you start telling lies to just build a rapport, this could be disaster also. Okay, and it will end up probably burning bridges rather than creating any bridges for you. So let's look at a relationship. Let's look at a couple relationship. Okay, let's take John only here, the poor guy. You've been always taking examples for smoking and drinking. Let's take him for an example of relationship. Now John likes a girl. Okay, and uh, he wants this girl in his life. Okay, so the first step is rapport building. Love and everything comes will follow, right? A trust and all that. But rapport, he has to build a rapport. So let's see how John operates, okay, in an environment to build a rapport. Okay, so what does John do? Okay, John will take her to posh restaurants. He'll dress always well, very sophisticated, nice, because uh, he has to build rapport with that girl. Okay, but normally it's not like that. That is a problem. Okay, normally it's not like that. But now to establish a rapport, he's going to taking her to a posh restaurant, like expensive restaurant, dressing well, etc., etc. Okay, now let's move to the next level. Now he behaves very goody goody, very pampering, very caring, very loving. All the time, oh, my sona, my baby, my lovey, my doobie, and all that, right? Very different behavior. But actually, it's not like that. Okay? But he's building the rapport, and she's very impressed also. The rapport is getting built up slowly, 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 right? Now comes the capability parts. This is amazing. Now he's building new capabilities. Okay. Now, what are new capabilities? He has excellent memory. Excellent memory. He remembers her birthday, her father's birthday, her mother's birthday, her dog's birthday, her cat's birthday, her neighbor's birthday. Okay. Now he's absolutely disciplined. New capability in this level. New capability. Absolutely disciplined. She'll tell him, "Let's meet at 7 o'clock." He'll reach by 6:30. Done. She'll say, "Call me at 7." He'll call at 6:55. Absolutely disciplined to the core. New capabilities. Okay. Now he has a new belief to it. Belief is she believes that this is how she wants him to be. John believes that is how this girl wants him to be. That is his belief. Okay. Now this belief gives him a new identity. Okay. The identity is I'm an ideal boyfriend or a future husband. And now I'm an ideal husband. Look at me. I mean, I'm taken to good restaurants. I'm very goody goody with her. I have excellent memory. I remember all the birthdays. Okay. And I'm exactly the way she wants me to be, right? So I'm the ideal boyfriend or the future husband. Okay. Now, what is the purpose? To get an ideal wife or an ideal housewife. I'll tell you why I use this statement. To get an ideal wife or an ideal housewife, right? Now, the marriage happens because you can't date for long, no? 6 months or 1 year. Now, the marriage happens. Okay, now what happens? No more environments. No more going to hotels because that was never his original self. Okay, he faked it for the sake of rapport. The first level rapport is breaking up. Now he doesn't. So like when it comes to dress, he's pretty normal. He doesn't and it is okay with the girl. I'm not saying the girl demanded all that. Okay, this is what he presumed. Okay, but the girl is suddenly seeing a sudden shift now, because of which it is impacting the rapport. Right? Probably she would be absolutely okay not going to big restaurants or not wearing, if he doesn't wear suits and blazers all that. Absolutely fine. But since she's seeing something different now, the rapport is beginning to disintegrate. Okay. Now let's move to the next level. No more goody goody behavior. Okay. She says, will you be coming home in the evening? Yeah, if I get time, I'll come. Before it was, no, yeah, yes, so no, of course, come anything, I will come, right? But now it's totally different. Behavior change. The second level of rapport is falling apart. Okay, though it is at the basic level, it is falling apart, right? Third comes the capability. Okay, now forget her dog, pussycat, her mother, father. He forget her birthday only. Now can this get any more disastrous? He forgets her birthday only. Now look at the discipline part. Okay, he's supposed to come home by 6:30. He doesn't come by 10 o'clock also. Right? Right? And then he shows various behaviors which he didn't show before. Like he comes home drunk. Got it? So what he did before to build a rapport, now everything comes on, and the third pillar of rapport starts falling apart. Like we're heading towards a divorce. And it is, and if you understand this, boss, you can save a lot of relationships. The reason I'm stressing on this entire model is because it's not only you. You will have friends around with whom you can save some relationship. Right? Now he comes with the last part, belief part. Now, like his belief was this is how she wanted him to be. But that is not the case probably. Right? So now that belief also falls apart. Now he says, oh, before you were like this, after you were like this. I did not think you'll change like this. All this starts coming up. Now the fourth pillar is also down. Right? Now his identity is changed. Now he become a miserable husband. Now he also accepts that fact. No, I'm a miserable husband. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think I'm a great guy. Now his identity is also changed now. Okay. Right? Now comes to the purpose part. What's the whole purpose of this marriage? Okay. To get an ideal wife who doesn't crib. That was his purpose. Who doesn't crib. Who will accept everything the way he is. Okay. But the way he was, what he showed her was something different before. That he doesn't understand. Okay. So the idea of an ideal wife, purpose of ideal wife is like the gym. Right? Example. Now that is the whole purpose is going wrong. Okay. Now from the wife's side also there are a lot of issues. His purpose was to get a housewife. Now she was dynamic. She wanted to work. She wanted to do something in her life. Right? Her purpose of marriage is not met. She was looking for a soulmate, a good partner who supports her in her endeavors. But that is not happening. Her purpose is also not met. Okay. Now, when the purpose does not meet, then it's a definite break in rapport. It's not going to work at all. Okay. At least if the purpose meets, even if other things don't meet, you can still survive. Like for example, if he's a husband who supports his wife, say, okay, why you study, you do work hard, you work or do business, whatever you want, I'll support you. And other things don't match. Still, it will be good for her because her purpose is being met. And this is the most powerful one. Right? So even if he drinks, he forgets her birthday here, that. But she is getting the freedom to do what her purpose of marriage is being met. So she will be okay with that. There will be struggles, there will be fights, but she will still compromise. But when the purpose and identity gets gone, it get diminished, then it is a disaster. You and your rapport is not going to stay. It's going to break and it will end in a divorce. Right? So that's it, my friends. Just drop me a message saying that yes, you can save somebody from somebody's marriage for sure. Can you do it? I mean, it's so simple. So the whole idea of me doing this exercise today was to explain the science behind rapport building more than anything. It's not only about. Let me open up the entire screen for myself. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you. So, like I said, the whole idea of me giving this entire perspective was like this is covered in my NLP courses, neuro-linguistic programming. But this one thing actually can turn your life around, and you can apply to a lot of areas in your life. It's not just building rapport. Okay, so you look at look at all the behaviors in life. Right, where is the behaviors coming from? Okay, what is that environment you seek to indulge in that behavior? Okay, and when you look at what capability you develop, you'll see that actually I think that this particular behavior is giving me that capability, but that is not the case. Okay. Now, any questions you have? I saw some on the chat. I think I've answered that. And anything else, Peter? You can just.
Yeah. So Ravi, so while they are doing that, Ravi, we had this like a question that has come up
right?
Shobha was like asking, does it work between bosses versus seniors or management versus leaders when we talk about such kind of an rapport and relation that we're talking
All
about?
across, all across. Let me tell you very simply what you brought up. See where the clash happens. Simple. I am a vice president. You are a manager. The rapport itself gets diluted at the identity level. Look at a guy who's a manager in the office and he sees his CEO walking across. He does not even wish good morning. Why? Identity. He says, "How can I wish my CEO good morning? My God, he's a CEO." Now, can you imagine a CEO firing you for saying good morning? But he will not wish because the identity comes in between, which does not allow him to establish a rapport to that extent that he can even wish him a good morning. So it's all across. So if you want to establish rapport, I'll tell you, uh, just do some social media research on some of the people, right? And you'll come to know he loves football. Somebody plays music on a weekend. Somebody sings a karaoke. The next day, Monday, Tuesday, is in the office, just tell him, boss, you sing well, yeah? You're damn good, yeah? Now, instantly, he's felt like, oh, okay, somebody's seen my this. And rapport is built up now. Okay, so
Okay.
so there are thousands. You just have to watch it out. If you use the 6 levels, trust me, you can build rapport with anybody across the team. So, like for example, even you're building watchmen, some of you will agree. Like these guys, uh, like you casually behave nicely with them. Yeah, हाँ बहादुर कैसे हो यार ठीक है good morning. Now your behavior will help you build a rapport with that watchman. Now next time you open your you come into the lobby with your car, he'll come running to take your bag. Why? Why? Because you built a rapport with him. Because of your behavior. Small things, but you see how it works, how the rapport works. The thing is, once you establish a rapport, then it is automatic. Then
True, true.
start flowing.
And the last question from Vindhya, we have it. Purpose and identity, it had been colored in red. Is it because of the unconscious level?
Yes, so it is colored level red for two reasons. One, because it is at the unconscious level. Second, it is the most powerful. So any change you want to do, if you do it at the identity and the purpose level, you are sorted, right? So in an organization, for example, if you have an office meeting, um, and you normally find two people arguing, okay, like my idea is better as compared to your idea. So there is always an argument which happens. Now you just have to ask one question: what purpose of the organization is this idea serving? Tell me that. Simple. What purpose of the organization is this idea of yours serving? Now, if both come out with that explanation, they'll automatically feel that his idea is better here because his idea is serving the purpose of the organization. Then suddenly what happens, he puts his own personal agenda behind and he looks at the purpose of the organization and then he feels, oh, I think his idea is better as compared to mine because now the purpose of the organization has come up. So that is why I put in red because that is very powerful. So, like I said, if you uh, create a rapport at that level, then it is absolutely brilliant. Like for example, mother and father, the purpose, to bring up my children, to groom my children. Look, most of the time, my parents are together. There are a lot of indifferences, a lot of differences between them. But when they have a common purpose that, oh, I have my son, daughter, and I have to, we want to see them grow and into a beautiful human being and be successful in life. The common purpose keeps them together. Otherwise, if you see, there are many houses where they literally want to hit each other. But the common purpose keeps them together. So that is why it is red. It's very powerful.
True, true, absolutely. So wonderful insights and interesting stories with solutions to our daily life problems. Thank you, Ravi, for taking us to this beautiful journey.